All right, with me on the phone is E.G. Daily. You may know her from The Voice, the music talent show that we just had air, where she did an amazing rendition of Breathe, but she's also the star, got a role back in Valley Girl, Pee Wee Herman, back in The Big Adventure. That was a fantastic show, by the way. But let me get to Balcony TV first. Tell me a little bit about the show that you were hosting that kind of was a lead-in to getting the opportunity on The Voice.
Oh, I love that you're asking about that show because I have so much gratitude to that show. I was at this I was sort of in this place in my life where I was starting to fall back into what I loved again, and I ended up at a birthday party for a friend, and it was hosted by a woman that I didn't know, and she said, "Hey, I love your music and your singing. Would you do a song on my show, Balcony TV LA?" And it's where they actually do, you do a song, and it's usually acoustic, and it's your own song. It's an original usually, and they film them on balconies all over. They have them in Balcony TV Sweden, Balcony TV London, Balcony whatever. And this was the one in LA, and I was like, of course I'll do it. And we ended up doing it at my house because the balcony that I was supposed to film on fell through. And I said, I have a great balcony. We can just film it at my house. And we ended up filming at my house, which was great. And the other artists that came were amazing. And I was so moved by the authenticity of this show that it's just all it is just a real artist playing an original song with just an acoustic set, and it's on a balcony, somewhere, and just raw. And the next thing you know, I started hosting a few of those for her because I just had such a blast having these artists, and they were coming in from Sweden and Ireland and whatnot. And the next thing you know, she, the same woman that I'd now known for a few months, and I was doing some of these shows, just out of a labor of love. I was hosting some and, not being paid or anything, but just for the love of music. And she called one day and said, I hope you're okay with this, but I got you an audition for The Voice. And that was the beginning of that whole process of me getting on The Voice. And at first I was like, they're not going to put me on that show. And she said, we have an audition for you at this time. And I was like, wow, okay. So, I don't know, that's just how it started. And Balcony TV was just this beautiful show that's done, and it's usually hosted by people that are not really being paid to do it, but it's just for the love of music, and that's why I love Balcony so much.
Really cool. Is there a favorite artist from that you got to experience that you
there's so many. There's a band called Admiral Fellow. I can't even, honestly, there are so many that I'd have to go back and look at them. There's so many. I mean, if you just went down and just started watching all kinds of random videos, you would be blown away. So there's a lot. I just have to go back and remember all the names because there's so many.
How many auditions did you have before you were on The Voice?
Crooked Trees are great. It was really over a period of time. I couldn't tell you how many auditions, but I would say I started probably 7 months before I actually landed on the blind.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of time in between, but it's a long process. Yeah.
Obviously, everybody has been talking about your rendition of Breathe. Did you get to choose that, or was it something that was from a list? Or
it was actually something that I chose, and actually it was something from a list of songs that I had chosen. Mm-hmm. And the producers ultimately, on that particular song, it was sort of a decision between me and them. But it was definitely based on songs that I wanted to sing. It was based on a list of songs that I thought were beautiful. It was sort of, the funny thing was it was sort of lower down on my list. And because there were so many songs that I liked, and that was one lower on my list, that they sort of pulled up to the top and said, hey, what about this? And I was like, yeah, I like that song. I don't know why I put it so low, but it was just ended up being such an amazing song for me.
Absolutely, it is. And I want to shift gears just for a second. A lot of folks might recognize you from your voice work, obviously, on Rugrats as Tommy Pickles, Buttercup on Powderpuff Girls. First off, let me make sure here. Powderpuff Girls are coming back in January. And,
January 20th is a special, yeah.
Fantastic. Are you Buttercup?
I'm Buttercup.
Buttercup's back.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I wouldn't see the Powerpuff Girls without any of us.
It's fantastic. It's got a pretty big fan base, right? I mean,
huge fan base. We just did a convention maybe a few weeks ago. LA Convention Center was packed. We did a Powerpuff panel, and it was just massive and packed with people singing our songs, and it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. It's a big show.
Indeed. Now, do you go in and out of the Tommy Pickles voice easily, or is this something you just like surprise?
Yeah, I'll just go into it sometimes like that.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Now, he's famous for the whole babies do what babies do thing.
Babies do what babies do.
That's great. Did you help come up with that, or is that just part of the thing that just kind of become kind of his catchphrase?
The saying was definitely done by the writers and the creators. That was like an ongoing. That was an ongoing copy.
Part of
right?
the character development.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. There was like, hold on, you're a guy piece. We're going in. There's that one.
Right.
But I came up with the voice, and voice that I did.
Fantastic. Now let's go back a couple days. Just a few days ago when you got the role on Valley Girl, which it's kind of a cult favorite now, but at the time was kind of a low budget.
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody knows anybody kind of thing, but
Yeah.
Tell us kind of what it was like to even get the role, let alone what the production was kind of like.
Well, it was just sort of a regular old casting, and I remember I was at a studio, and we didn't know anything about it, and I remember them saying, you need to do a Valley Girl accent. I was like, I don't even know what that is, because I'm a Hollywood girl. I grew up on the Sunset Strip playing clubs, and I was like, okay, and then the character I was reading for was Lauren, and my character was from Malibu instead of the Valley, but I didn't tell anyone that. Now I could sort of just do this Malibu sort of, your mom's so cool, this sort of thing like that. And, it was just a regular audition, and the next thing you know, they had their cast, and, I knew Nick from high school because we'd gone to high school together, and I met Deborah Foreman during the shoot, and all the other girls I met during the movie film, and then we just had a blast. I mean, none of us thought anything more than we were just in the moment having a blast, and it was very low budget, like we said. We had to wear our own clothes. Some of the clothes was just our own, and that's kind of rare. I usually do a film and they bring in the clothes and stuff, but it was Martha Coolidge, who was a great director, and she kind of had it going on when she was putting it together, and they made an amazing soundtrack. As everybody knows, it's one of the best soundtracks that have ever come out. So it just turned out to be this huge hit, and we had no idea. We were just like in it for the fun, and it was a blast, and the next thing you know, it was a huge success. And
it really kind of, another great role and opportunity, especially in hindsight, right, is working with Tim Burton and Pee Wee Herman right after that, getting Pee Wee's Big Adventure, working with Paul. Tell us what it was like to work with Paul.
Well, again, that was another one of those things, and it wasn't until in hindsight you look back and go, I had no idea I was going to work with one of the hugest directors, Tim Burton. At the time you just do the job and you hear, oh, this is a great director, he's new, and he did this short special about a dog, and this is like his more break-opening movie. And Pee-wee was like, I knew he did a live show in L.A. that I was familiar with, but it was a play. It was like a play. And so, we didn't know at that time that it was going to be huge. I had a little suspicion because it was Warner Brothers, and they had a really amazing set. And the sound stage they were working was really good. And I could tell they were putting a lot of money behind the project. But I've done so many projects that it wasn't until, afterward that I even realized how huge the project was. I just always kind of get involved in the process and enjoy it so much that I don't realize what happens until after. Like I did a movie called Fandango with, it was one of Kevin Costner's movies before he broke open, and they were starting to talk about him, saying, oh, he's going to be this huge thing, and I was like, oh, that's Kevin. I'd spent time with him in a small town in Marfa, Texas, and the director, Kevin Reynolds, and I spent small, intimate time with these people, and then a year later when the movie came out and Dancing with Wolves came out, he was massive,
Right.
And that sort of happened. That happened with so many projects for me, where every project I worked on at the time was like, this little project, I was just having a ball in some small town filming a movie, and the next thing you know, it was massive, and my co-stars were like blowing up, You just never know. You just never know what's going to be the thing that blows up. And that's what's so nice about The Voice, like now I'm 52, but when I actually filmed my blind, I was 51. I just turned 52 in September. But the thing that was so cool about it was I was actually able to be there and present and actually experience the monumentalness of it without, usually I just am kind of like spaced out. I just sort of do them and then I move forward, and then I don't realize until it happens how massive it was. But I realized while I was singing Breathe on that stage how massive that was. I realized the amount of people that were being exposed to me, and the amount of tying a bow around everything that I've been doing for decades kind of came together on that stage. And I was able, because I'm now, at the time 51, I was able to really embrace it and feel it and experience it and not be a moment ahead or a moment behind,
Any hopes we're going to have another album? Your last one was called Tearing Down the Walls. Any chance we're going to have some more music coming your way?
That's such a great record. If anybody gets a chance to go check it out, it's on Amazon and iTunes, and also my website has a lot of stuff, egdaily.com. But I have new music coming out all the time. There's a song called Somebody's Loving You that's on iTunes. You can see the video on YouTube, and you can listen to the song on iTunes. It's called Somebody's Loving You. Plus, Breathe is out on iTunes and available for download, as well as Let's Give Them Something to Talk About that I did on the show as well. But there's so much music out there. I just keep popping stuff out there on my own. There's
That's
songs
great.
called Changing Faces. Yeah. And I do videos, so they're really fun. I make my own little videos. So definitely check out Somebody's Loving You on my website. You can see all these things. You can see the Breathe performance and watch some of the videos.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna link to your website. We look forward to Powder Puff Girls 2014. I guess January 20th is our special.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Twitter. Find me on Twitter, which is at RealEGDaily, and also my Facebook, which is come and like my page on Facebook. Those are both on my website. You can find those links from the website egdaily.com. And pretty awesome.
A great way to keep in touch with you, find out what's going on, and keep up with all these amazing projects and things that you're working on. Well, thank you again for fitting us into your busy schedule, and good luck. Sounds like a lot of really cool projects.
Thanks so much. All right, nice talking to you. Have a beautiful New Year's, and
all right.
everybody too.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.